So we have the test VM, which is essentially what we give developers to work on. You guys may or may not be familiar. It's the environments that we get to use for our job. It used to take anywhere from a couple days to a week just to get your environment running. And assuming you did it correctly, then you're good to go. Now we have this test VM, which typically runs in about an hour, and you have an environment that has both relativity and invariant running on it. However, if you are an invariant developer, there's some additional stuff that we need that the test VM does not give us. However, we want the same kind of functionality to where I could run a script and I was good to go. Right now, what we have is this rather kind of long list of instructions that you need to follow in order to set it up, and given the amount of manual input, there's a lot of errors that typically means someone comes and finds me. It's like, hey, what did I do wrong, or why isn't this working? So the idea was two things. One, new people who are coming on, it should take them no more than a few hours tops to have an environment that's ready to go so they can do their job. And then two, if I do something to my environment and I bust them, I want to be able to blow them away, start over, go to lunch, run some scripts, and when I come back, they're done, I can come back and do my job.
And there's also a third scenario where you want to support both like a current development and like a defect development where you need to maybe revert back to another change and you want to have those running concurrently.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So what we've done is we've automated the whole process of setting up the invariant component of the test VM. So this is the script. Right now we're going to be skipping the provisioning because provisioning takes a little while. It takes about 10-15 minutes. This will take about a couple more, so like 5 minutes or so. So I'm going to start running it. The first thing that's going to do, so I'm going to click in here. Okay. When you're running Invariant on your host machines, what we have to do so that we can debug native applications, etc., we have to make sure that we actually have the native applications on our machines. So the first thing it's going to go ahead and do is install all the applications. Previously, you had to go find them on the file server and install them by hand. So it takes about a minute or so for it to pull them all down, run the installers, and then once it gets through there, it's still running the install right now, then it's going to fire up the RPC of my local build. So I have a developer-built version of the RPC that I'm going to run, and it's going to start it for me and then ask me to log in. This is a step right now that we still have to actually automate, but right now, because you have to provide your credentials, we can't skip this. We always need to authenticate. What we would like to do is make it so that you can pass your key directly via the command line. So this way you're still authenticating, but you just don't have to require any user input. So now it's going to fire up the RPC, and then once this starts, I can continue. While we're waiting for the RPC to start, what's going to happen after this is right now I have relativity running in my all-in-one environment, but it actually is only set up to run in that one instance. Now that I have set up this other instance of Invariant, now I actually have to go set up all the resource pools, the worker manager servers, and it normally takes anywhere from 5 to 30 minutes to do it because there's a lot of manual clicking. But we have a lot of Kepler services around all this, so we can automate that. So once this fires up, it's going to finish off the script by actually going through all of the other manual steps that you have to do. So give it a minute for the services to start as well, and then I can continue. So right now it's setting up relativity to be configured to my instance of Invariant. So right now, I started it too soon. The invariant worker didn't get set up. However, it still worked. So if I go to relativity, I'll notice that I still have my resource pools. And previously I only had one, now I have two. Now I have one with my local invariant set up. The one step that it did not work was actually adding the worker, because the worker wasn't actually setting up its API enough yet. But everything I need is here. So I have, except my processing and social locations. So now I can go and I can do my job. I don't have to go and do this all by hand anymore. So the other step that you didn't see, which is the one that we skipped so that we could just show this part, was that it configures all of the invariant database as well. So I don't have to go and run any scripts. I'm just pretty much ready to go. That's it.
How long does it take to do manually? You said in the beginning.
So it normally takes anywhere from a couple hours to a couple days. This takes about 15 minutes per developer.
Usually for new developers, it's a couple day range. For plus-year developers like us, it's a couple hours to clear everything out and put everything back on. There's a few improvements we're still looking to make. Maybe ran out of time on. One is kind of automating that login that Thor showed you, as well as actually starting the queue manager. So we'll automate that button click there, which will prevent the condition where everything's not started before we go create these things.
That's a very common thing. That doesn't worry me at all.
And then relativity licensing, so processing workers still needs to be licensed to work in that environment. And there's support for that. We just haven't got it around.
So do you, for a test environment, you still have to put a processing license in?
Yes, because this environment is essentially the closest thing that we can get to a real environment. There are no special like developer keys or anything.
That's kind of screwy to me, but
basically like a
that's not your fault.
environment.
That's just screwy to me in general.
Well,
It's probably your fault.
oftentimes,
It always is.
security,
You have that now recorded.
things like that.
Yeah.
So there's that
Internal.
balance of making our lives easy and making sure the products
Protecting our IP, yeah. I get it.
Yes, Andrew, I'm judging
Farther that the
Hackathon.
products diverge for developers and for consumers, the harder, like the easier it makes for problems to exist in one, but not the other.
I get that too.
So here we're actually running essentially a client environment, but I also get the perks of being able to develop in a way that's easy for me.
Is this something you can use next week? Like,
Yes.
is it as it what you built is usable?
Yes, that was the intent. Last night.
So if you don't win, you're not going to tear it down. You're still
No.
going to use it.
This was I've been wanting to do this for like months now.
We're going to come to your machines and delete it to make sure.